Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and this is another quick video update for Get Lost on our gorgeous little DR650s. Right, quick run through with what we've done to the bikes. Now, this one, both bikes when you first saw them were more or less stock as a rock. This was bulk stock other than a slip-on. So, we've now done, obviously, fender bags, all the usual poop. We've got some bar risers that are still coming for the for these Renthals, which were on Karina's bike. I've got an ATV bar, but I'll get to that shortly. So bigger tanks, I have a IMS tank on mine. Suspension's been done, front and rear, heavier fork oil in the front, gone to 10 weight fork oil. Engine, NSU bolts again under here. A bit of a must have to do, case protection, the pivot pegs as well. Try and make it a bit more comfortable. Full Force Racing in Brizzy area, done the rear shock on my bike, revalved it because I'm quite large, so they've put a set it up for my weight, and the thing rails. It absolutely works brilliantly. Usual racks and stuff, B&B racks. I'll put 12 volt power sockets on the front of both bikes. We've got auxiliaries. I've got also we'll have our ram mounts on the front there, bark busters, usual stuff. Tyres, we've gone for the we've done a few changes. We're now running these Golden Tyre GT fatty fronts. Now these are absolutely brilliant in the soft sand and the bull dust, which apparently at the moment is what's going to be happening up at the Cape. Versus, I'll just give you a quick comparison. These are the 09s that we had. I had these on the front of Karina's bike, and you can see the difference in the tyre profile there. These are great 50/50 tyre, and they're really good on the road and bitumen. And I'll use these going to and from work a few times. But on the road, these things are a bit more swidgely. But in the bush, absolutely it's night and day the difference. And they are DOT approved, and these are the hard terrain, so these are the hardest compound out of all of them. They do a soft terrain, but for what we're doing, we opted for the hard terrains. So yeah, if you're going to ride your bike day in day out to and from work and then go adventure riding during the week, these would be the pick. But for what we're doing, which is mostly going to be, you know, a lot of hard riding up the Cape, these front tyres, I can't fault them at the moment. So we'll be taking spares. These are going to go in the mate's four-wheel drive just as backups, and I've got a spare 606, the spanking new 606, just in case we have a whoopsie. So I've got the 606 on the rear of mine, the rear of my bike, and I've had that on there now for about 3 months. I've been riding it to and from work, and that's all the damage that's done from that much, and that's basically, you know, just spanking new. Coming around, tool tubed on both bikes, just your standard, you know, everyone does them. There's a heap of how-to videos online. Just, you know, I think they're all up there cost about $20 something to buy the material. I'm not 100% sure about the brackets, so on both bikes I've backed up with, I've just cable tied, so they're bracketed and cable tied in on both bikes. So again, like I said, pivot pegs, bash plates, usual stuff. Fender bags, obviously have our tubes, and I've got spare levers in both as well to cut down the levers for both bikes. And also seats. I was waiting for one of our local Australian adventure companies to get supply in, and a couple of months, you know, after trying to get seats through them, they couldn't supply them. So I went to our local upholsterer here in Townsville and showed him what I wanted, and so he done these up for us. So there's a bit of a step in the back for luggage. There's gel inserts in here, and then a thin layer of foam over the top of that over the standard seat. They're a couple $100 a seat, still cheaper than getting, you know, the seat concept stuff in, and very comfortable. So that's how that's my bike, basically ready to go. We just got, you know, bags, and we're going to try doing some luggage today, and we do a bit of a soft run around, and then going to Karina's bike. We've got Miss K's bike, same thing, same front end. Springs are set up for her weight. Her bike had the the windscreen on it to start with when we first purchased the bike. I picked up the Cerberus tank. Actually, I got both tanks from the same guy. He had. I picked up the IMS tank first, and then he was debating whether to sell me this one because him and his wife had 2 DRs. So because he sold the bike. So anyway, so I ended up going back down and getting that. So they were both used. I paid what I paid for these 2 tanks second hand. You buy one brand new, so I saved a bit of money there. The biggest difference with the suspension on Carina's versus mine is that on the rear suspension, it's just had the there's no revalving done. It's standard valving, heavy duty spring and 10 weight oil, and the same with the front. It's just got the 10 weight oil, and it's just got the spring, the weight for the spring's done for her weight. So, but she's really happy with it. It's riding very well. Same again. We've got pivot pegs, bash plates, usual bark busters. The difference with her bike on the rear, with the rack, we've mounted up the Tool Pro rear box. So this will carry a lot of some camera gear and stuff like that. I've bolted this on. It's been plated in, so you can't actually, she's had a couple of crashes with it now, has not come loose at all, hasn't cracked. So her bike had the FMF pipe on it from when we bought the bike, so mine just had a slip on. Honestly, if I was building a DR, I would not spend the money on an FMF pipe if you're going to do some adventure riding with it. Just do a slip on if you want a little bit more noise, you know, just to hear it, and also to take some weight out. But for the money, I just don't think, and they're bloody noisy too. You know, do the Gixxer mod, look at YouTube and do the GSXR mod, or just get a cheap little slip on. When I first saw it, I went, oh, it's great, it's got a FMF power bomb pipe on it and all that, but it doesn't fit properly. It rattles around. It's come loose a few times already. I've had to wire it. I put a bash plate on the front, but I've had to wire it in around the front of the frame a bit, just to try and keep it from. I have had to do, if you can see in there, I've had to wire it in, because the whole thing, it didn't matter how tight you tighten this thing up, it was always loose. I Loctited it. I've had it on and off a few times, so it's been a right little pain in the ass. So yeah, I would not spend the money on an FMF pipe. So they should really work out what the hell's wrong. It's a full system. It's all the slip joints between here don't clamp in properly. So the join from here into here, it's always loose. Yeah, anyway, I'm not real happy with that. And again, I wouldn't spend the money on it. And also the tool tubes and that on the back, same again. So I just painted Carina's black. I've got, they're all bloody, brackets are on the back there. And I've also I've got extra cable ties, just to, in case the brackets break, you know, they're not going to go, the tubes aren't going to go AWOL. So yeah, so there's 20 odd litres of fuel in there for Carina. Now the difference with the bars, I had these on mine. These are the Raptor ATV bars, and they feel a bit funny when you first sit on the bike, and it's just a bit odd when you're riding along the road. But stand up on the pegs, and these things are just absolutely brilliant. So they really are nice. If you're 6 foot and you want a real tall bar and you don't want to muck around with dropping the pegs down or stuff like that, just change these things out. There's enough room in the cables. Suzuki seem to give you enough room in the cables under the front here. There's a couple of clips there, you loosen those up and all the cables tend to come up. The only other issue I had with these was the brake line. I had to reroute the brake line down instead of up and over to clear the bloody windscreen. So again, I'm glad I don't have a windscreen, because I'm not a real windscreen fan, but it's on there for Carina's bike. But yeah, if you want try something different, try some ATV Raptor bars from the Yamaha, the standard Yamaha Raptor bars. You can see how much higher they are there. I've still got bar risers coming for the Renthals. These were on Carina's bike, but you see I've had to pitch them right forward. So hopefully this week I'll have some risers coming, and that'll lift these up. I like the bend of these bars, but I don't like how low they are. So in the bush, the Raptor bars there's a lot of control over them, but they just feels like you're riding on a chopper on the road. So that's the basics of our bikes, and they're all more or less ready to roll. So yeah, NSU bolts, the usual stuff, covers, suspension makes a massive difference, good tyres. We're still running the MT, sorry, not the MT, the E09 rear on Carina's, so it's been quite good, and it's tough as nails. This thing, she won't get a puncture at all in these. I've also slimed up all the wheels. I've slime in each wheel, heavy duty tube slime. So, and taking backup tyres and tubes, we should have, I won't even need them now. I'm guaranteed we'll get up there and back, and I won't need any of the spares that I'm taking, so, because I've got backups of everything. So yeah, the bikes are ready to roll, and obviously too, there's been no difference. Just in case you may have picked it, mine sits a little bit higher than Carina's as well. It seems to have a bit more in the rear, and it's just because of the spring rates in the rear and the Carina's bike, because the shock's been done and the higher spring rates. Mine just sits that bit taller. So you'd be surprised at what these things can alter by changing just the spring rates. There's a big difference. So, but yeah, get your bike, give a suspension shop a call. It's really easy stuff to work with. It's so simple to work with. I'm really actually happy and glad at how that turned out. And if you're a big guy and you want your bike to rail, you know, and really work well, get the rear shock done. Like Carina's is nice to ride, but when you get off that and you get on this thing feels like I'm riding an enduro, the way that tracks now through the corners and jumps, and I've had it airborne a couple of times, and it's just been absolutely magic. And it was only a couple $100 to get a local shop that had to send the shocky away, you know, but that rear, the valving in that for my size works really, really well. So yeah, that's basically it. Let's see, we've got all of our luggage and stuff here, and we're getting ready to do a bit of a pre-run pack up on the bikes and stuff today, and we're going to load both of the hours up here, and hopefully yeah, get everything loaded and sorted, and work out what can go on them. So thanks for watching, and this is Bussa here with another video from Get Lost.